This is Atomic Shinobi and today I'm going to narrate what if Naruto Awakens unknown Dojutsu during chunin exams. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Location: following the chunin preliminary finals. Kakashi. Sensei. I need a favor, stated a blonde boy who was bouncing around in an orange jumpsuit. A masked one eyed John and said, Naruto, don't say another word. I can't train you. Why not? But before Kakashi had a chance to respond, Naruto solved the problem. Naruto yelled, hey, you're going to train Sasuke, aren't you? Stop talking, Naruto. You're in the hospital, a voice from behind said. Naruto looked at the girl with the pink hair and said, Sakura-chan, what are you doing here? As if it were the most offensive thing she had ever heard, she gave him a look. With a matter of fact tone, she stated, I'm here to see Sasuke-kun. I mean, he is the one that saved us from Orochimaru. What are you talking about? If it wasn't for me, Sasuke would be dead right now. If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have made it to the finals. Naruto screamed in rage. Sakura simply nodded as Kakashi said, without hesitation, I highly doubt that you alone got your scroll to pass the exam. You have a lot of stamina, but you're not that strong. She didn't want to acknowledge that Naruto was correct. Thus, she remained silent. Naruto uttered, but I, with a hint of pain in his eyes. Kakashi looked up from his book and glared at his student. That's enough, Naruto. If you could barely defeat Kiba, how am I supposed to believe that you got the scroll without help? He asked. Kakashi said, glancing back down at his book, please Naruto, do not lie to me. Anger was making Naruto tremble. How could he, really? However, there might have been hope. Sakura-chan caused a flash of pain to appear in his eyes, but she brushed it off as a figment of her imagination. Come on. Naruto is truly feeling horrible. She turned her head without realizing what she had just done. Naruto experienced a range of emotions at that moment. Pain, disbelief, anger, and lastly, heartbreak. Disbelief. How on earth are they not going to believe me? Anger. Those basters. Sakura witnessed what transpired. Pain. She isn't really my friend, I suppose. I suppose I am truly alone. Heartache. I loved her, how could she have done this? So, I guess I'm really alone because I don't really have any friends. To put it plainly, he felt awful. His mask was broken as a result and was being repaired. They thought he would fight, but all they heard was the sound of water dripping. When he raised his heads from the shadows of his hair, it seemed like an eternity. They felt a chill go through them from the expressions in his eyes. His eyes have the ability to freeze people. In an instant, there was a tremendous sense of murderous intent that permeated the entire hospital. Naruto cannot be this. Sakura dropped to her knees and thought, his killer intent is massive. This is amazing. So strong. This is entirely Naruto's, not even the Kyuubi's. I can even see the aura of its power. As he observed the hellfire encircling Naruto, Kakashi pondered. They formed a crowd. There stood every ninja in the village. Naruto was surrounded by a reddish, black aura that was like hellfire. Even though Naruto was urinating, his face didn't convey it. He had no emotion on his face, which left everyone extremely scarred. His eyes were what made people take notice. His deep ocean blue wasn't his natural color. They were a blend of purple and black. A red swirl spinning in all its beauty was in the center. Sakura shook her head and said, Naruto. He slowly turned to face Sakura. She was extremely frightened. She stammered, I'm S.So. Sorry. His expression remained the same. His face was marred by tears, displaying all the hatred. Sakura begged, Naruto, please don't look at me like that. We're friends, remember. The dope who used to like her was gone. Friends. Sakura made everyone tense and silent. The Hokage was tense, too. He himself is incapable of displaying such strong murderous intent. You don't know what it means to be a friend to someone. I've tried to be your friend, but now I know that someone like you are unable to have friends. In other words. In order for everyone to see his eyes, he tipped his head back. He uttered the 7 words that devastated her. He walked calmly through the door after saying, I regret calling you, my friend. At the door, he paused and looked over his shoulder, gazing intently at Kakashi. Naruto gave him a fierce look and said, you trash. Kakashi, you always said, those who break the rules and regulations are trash, but those who don't care about their companions are worse than trash. Congratulations. He then left. Sakura was sobbing on her knees as a single tear trickled down Kakashi's cheek. They never imagined Naruto would treat this with such gravity. Every negative thing they did to the blonde was visible to those eyes. At the same moment, they all had the same thought. I apologize, Naruto. No one noticed that the purple-haired genin had long since left the hospital. He always had a smile on his face. He is constantly optimistic that things will improve for him. A ray of hope. But he was hurting on the inside. He didn't smile today, feeling lonely and hurt. Grief and the never-ending agony that resides in his heart have taken the place of all the joy that always makes the day better. He was sitting in the woods at the moment, recalling all the lies his so-called friends had told him. He felt a sense of emptiness when he reflected on his life. The life of heartache and suffering. The heavens wept for Naruto. The gods themselves seemed to weep for Naruto's unending suffering. For the first time in a long time, Naruto felt something. Tears. He made a self-promise to never cry again, and for a while he believed he had lost the ability to cry. He felt as though he was in a lot of pain today. All the pain he had accumulated over the years had to be let out. Ah. This is so stupid. Why am I always in pain? It's not fair. Why damn it? Why did you seal the Kyuubi in me? I understand you cool-handed beat it, but why me? I've been hated, feared, abused, and mistreated. Kami. What in the nine hells do you want from me? I don't have anything left to give. Naruto muttered the final phrase to himself. He had had enough of this suffering. He was sick of the chill running down his spine. He needed to express it. He forced all of his negative feelings to the surface and let them out. What follows could be summed up in one word: boom. A purple-haired girl with white eyes yells, Naruto. As her beloved explodes. She fled into the woods in the hopes of speaking with Naruto, but instead she discovered a large crater. I mean a large crater. Half of the woods were torn up. Naruto-kun. Naruto-kun, she exclaimed, but all she received was smoke blasted in her face. Baikugan, she exclaimed, searching all around for him. She shouted to herself, where is he? There, and sprinted to him with a speed that would have made the fourth Hokage blush. He was painting on his hands and knees when she got to him. She was too afraid to stammer when she asked, Naruto-kun, are you okay? He never responded to her query. Naruto-kun, please respond to me, had not been answered. She cried on his shoulder and sobbed, Naruto, please answer me. I don't like you like this. Please, I love you too much. I always loved you, I was just scared to tell you. I love you, Naruto. His voice was emotionless as he said, how could you love me? I'm a monster. A demon. Slap. Was audible throughout the forest. Don't you dare say that ever again. You are not a monster or a demon, you're the blonde knuckled-headed ninja I fell in love with. Hinata spoke with an authoritative tone. Naruto clutched his bruised cheek and gazed at Hinata in wonder. But he said, but a passionate kiss silenced him. She poured all of her love for him into it. He initially tensed, but he gave a passionate kiss in return. Even though it was only a few minutes long, it seemed like hours. She said something to let him know he was loved when they split up. As she ran her hands through his hair, he fell asleep from chakra depletion. Naruto-kun. I will always love you. You are my Naruto-kun. Naruto's point of view. Huh. Where am I? I recall Hinata telling me she loved me when we were together. Naruto reflected, then she kissed me and, that's all I remember. I've always been the idiot, but I'm actually quite intelligent. I didn't have many friends and was always by myself, so I had to pretend to be the idiot to get attention. That was no longer what I wanted. Now that I have Hinata, I will never be by myself. I'm not sure how long I've been sitting in her arms, but it doesn't matter because I like her and I don't even pretend to love her. I want to stay with Sakura more than ever because I loved her so much. I uttered, Hinata. In a monotone. She asks with assurance in her voice. Yes, Naruto-kun. If he didn't pick her, it didn't matter. She would be by his side no matter what. I think I'm falling in love with you. Terminate Naruto's POV. The POV of Hinata. Did he just say, oh, Naruto-kun? You don't know how long I've waited for you to say that. I was overjoyed that my beloved expressed his love for me while he was between my legs, not like that, and resting his head on my breast. I began to give him a back hug. My face was streaming with happy tears. The words, I love you too Naruto-kun, never made him smile in real life. I've witnessed his phony smiles, but never a genuine one. When I made him smile, I was overjoyed. My face turned a new shade of red every second as he buried his head deeper in my breast. Typical POV. Naruto-kun, what happened to your eyes back at the hospital? Replied Hinata. Hinata blushed at the nickname but persisted, asking, huh, my eyes? What are you talking about, Hina? Chan? Hinata thought Naruto was adorable as he turned his head to the side like a fox. Hinata appeared to be aware of this. Naruto nodded and added a small amount of charca to his eyes, saying, Naruto-kun, could you please put a little bit of charca in your eyes please? Hinata approached a rain-caused puddle and said, Naruto-kun, please follow me. Everything came to a halt for Naruto. Something moved, albeit slowly, every 10 seconds or so. The majority of what happened around him could also be predicted by him. His vision was better than it had been. He followed Hinata after cutting the charca to his eyes because he knew that if Hinata couldn't keep up with him, he wouldn't get anywhere. Naruto looked at his reflection after applying the same quantity of charca to his eyes when he arrived at the puddle. Naruto exclaimed, "What the hell is that?" in response to his recent discovery. After hearing the scream, Hinata felt a little uneasy. That was not what she expected him to do. Hinata said in a low voice, Naruto, it might be your bloodline. Naruto uttered the words, my bloodline, with a tone of surprise. She was astounded by his eyes and asked, do you know the name of it Naruto-kun? They appeared to dance around like fire and were purple and black. There seemed to be a lot of power in the blood-red swirl in the center. Hinata nodded and walked out to the Hokage's office as Naruto got up and gave her a kind of smile before saying, let's go find out shall we? Change of time. 5 minutes. The office of the Hokage. While smoking his pipe, the elderly man asked, Naruto, are you feeling any better? As he wrapped one arm around Hinata, he said, I'm fine. This caused Hinata's face to flush, and the elderly man laughed. Now that that's done with, I have 5 things to ask you, Naruto said gravely. What is it? Hiruzen asked, anticipating his question. Naruto stated in a formal tone, my first request is to leave Team 7 under Kakashi Hatake. The Hokage played dumb even though he knew why. This is me. Why? Because Kakashi only trains Sasuke and never me or Sakura. How can I become Hokage if he never trains me? There's a good reason why I really don't care what your excuse is. If he was ordered to then so be it, but that doesn't stop anyone to give me a scroll. Not only that if he was ordered to then Sasuke should have been his apprentices instead of hindering both mine and Sakura's skills. I think I proved my point. Okay, I'll allow you to if you pass the exams. The 2 things he wasn't expecting but didn't give much thought to were, fine. Thank you. My second request is that I want to know about my parents, but that can wait until after the meeting. My third request is that I want any inheritance that my family left. Fourth, I wish to leave the village to train for the exams. This is me. I will allow you to leave the village. Naruto nodded his head in agreement. The old man took 5 scrolls out from under his desk, one of which Naruto recognized, and said, thank you. My 5th request is I would like a sensei to come with me. Sarutobi nodded. Okay, there is somebody at the hot springs that can train you. Naruto smiled kindly at him. The third handed Naruto a gold scroll and said, here Naruto. Looking over his shoulder, Hinata read. Yes, you did forget about her. Greetings, Naruto. I sincerely apologize for what I did to you. I never intended to enclose you in the Kyuubi. Though I know deep down that you will be mistreated, I still wanted you to be seen as a hero. You were never informed of this or given your true last name, Namakake, because I had many enemies who would kill you without hesitation. Kushina Uzumaki is the name of your mother. She worked for the village hidden in the air as a Sanin. She was a woman of great power. In actuality, air has a lot of power. I wouldn't even touch the Kage, who was Kushina's father at the time, despite my speed if we faced off. Damn, son. You are so loved by your mother and me. I am the 4th Hokage, in case you haven't guessed that. No shit, your father, Minato Namikaze, is my name. I leave you and a few others to learn from my forbidden scroll. You also have my house, the money I saved, and the annual sum that your mother sends you. Eyes widened, Naruto, be strong and take care. Love Namikaze Minato Hokage Yandaime. Hinata and Naruto both had tears streaming down their cheeks. Hinata gave Naruto a back hug. The elderly Sandaime grinned and said, thank you for showing me this Oji-san. As he waited for the next scroll, Naruto nodded and said, you're welcome. Now are you ready for the next scroll? The third gave Naruto a light blue scroll. It said, greetings, Naruto. I apologize for having to part from you. I truly wanted to bring you along, but I trusted Minato's words. I hope you had a good upbringing. Ask a man named Jiraiya if you ever want to see me, Naruto. You are descended from Shingan. This is a very strong lineage. Your vision improves by 15%. Your eyes function similarly to a scanner. You can read someone's thoughts when you look them in the eye. This allows us to know what attack our opponent has planned and to attack them in the most effective way possible. Furthermore, we can easily cancel Genjustice on us. Due to our large Charka reserve and our preference for ninjutsu, few members of our clan are able to perform Genjutsu manly. Don't assume that just because we can't perform Genjutsu, we can't counter and refute them. With enough focus, we can even negate a Genjutsu created by the Mangekyo Sharingan. Our eyes are more accurate than the Sharingan at making predictions. Any nin, tai, or genjutsus can be replicated by our eyes before we even notice it. Even the Charka pathways are visible, but the Tenketsu are not. There is only one weakness in our eyes, sun, but for obvious reasons I will not mention it in this letter. Naruto appears on screen. My son, I'm waiting for you to arrive. Love Uzumaki Kushina I. X. I Naruto uttered the words, Ka-san, while shedding yet another tear. Hinata smiled sadly and asked, Are you going to go Naruto-kun? She asked. He smiled and said, Yes, I think I will. Circa can I come? She asked, her eyes full of hope. His smile was sorrowful as he said, Not this time. Next time, okay. He was aware that she would ask this, but he couldn't allow her to divert his attention. She nodded and sighed. They left after Naruto put all the scrolls away and said, Thanks old man. For everything. Hina-chan, come on. Let's get going. See you later, Hokage-sama. Naruto, these scrolls are your father's techniques. The dark blue one is your father's signature move, Rasengan. The white scroll is the Shinshin no Jutsu. The yellow scroll is what made your father famous. Sarutobi was taken aback. He was never called that by Naruto. He chuckled a little before bursting into a fit of giggles. Ha 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 ha, my boy, you will make a fine Hokage someday. Time shift. 3 minutes. Springs that are hot. Hinata asked in a sweet, loving tone, Naruto-kun, why are we here? Naruto eagerly remarked, the old man said there were somebody here who could teach me. She blushed and remarked, oh but wait a moment Naruto-kun. Naruto only managed to say, Hawa. MPPH, before Hinata planted a passionate kiss on his lips. After initially stiffening, Naruto relaxed and gave her a passionate kiss in return. Hinata crossed her teeth and brushed her tongue. He lets Hinata into his mouth by opening it. Every fiber of their mouths was twitching in a battle of tongues. A certain pervert heard the moans that reverberated throughout the hot springs. Naturally, Hinata was in a daze as they simply stared into each other's eyes when they finally parted ways. With lust in her eyes, she exclaimed, T. That was amazing Naruto-kun. Naruto kissed Hinata on the lips and said, yeah, I enjoyed it to Hinata-chan. They turned to see, ho ho ho, so did I. Okay. Who are you and give me one good reason why I shouldn't yell, pervert, in a bathhouse full of bathing nude women. Naruto responded with a bit of rage. Come on, he was making out with his new girlfriend while being spied on by some jerk. What a teme. In fact, he was having fun observing us. Naruto gazed at the white-haired man as he struck a pose, saying, I swear you'll pay for that old man. I shall tell you my true identity. I am the man who has no enemies in the north, south, east, and west. Not even in the heavens. I am one of the Sanins. White-haired frog tamer. Even a crying baby would stare in awe, the great Jiraiya. That is me. The newly declared Jiraiya yelled. After that, everyone fell silent. Hinata and Naruto simply hummed to themselves before slowly leaving. Jiraiya started to perspire profusely, but Naruto's brain clicked before he could completely walk away. Naruto turned around and said calmly, Wait Jiraiya. Yeah, you're the one who trained my dad. This is me. X. So I guess you know huh? As Naruto approached the elderly man, he said, Yes, I do, and I need a favor from you. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow and said, What is it? Can you train me in my father's techniques and take me to the village hidden in the air? Jiraiya considered this for a moment. Jiraiya began to put on one of his perverted smiles and said, Okay, fine, but first you must do something for me. With a smile, Naruto assumed his kind and compassionate demeanor. I can take it, believe it. At this, Jiraiya's smile widened. Find me a girl. You know, a babe with nice curves. Jiraiya nodded as she waited for the girl, saying, So all you want is a girl. Naruto made a seal and cracked his knuckles. Orochimaru no Jutsu. Ahaha, no problem. Sexy jutsu. Jiraiya a massive nosebleed but not enough to put him to sleep. Amazing. Good. I got everything right, including the cravings. What is the term for this jutsu? It's called the Orochimaru no Jutsu, Jiraiya exclaimed. gazing over Narkia, SP. With awe and a hint of lust. After he finished staring at her, he somehow managed to get a pair of fans and exclaimed, "Perfect 10. Alright, I'll train you, but..." She looked cute when Naruto put a figure to her mouth. But what, Jiraiya? Sama. Jiraiya lost even more blood at that point. But you have to stay in that form on the way. Naruto smirked and pointed to the elderly, twisted man. What's wrong with you? He asked. Are you a pervert of some sort? Naruto lost his ability to speak at that moment. Seriously, Gaki, I'll do it, Jiraiya said with a corny laugh. I'm a big pervert one. See you later, Arrow. Sanin. Try not to peek in the women's bathhouse anymore. Naruto nodded, took Hinata's hand, and began to leave, but not before shouting one last thing before they passed the female bath hut. Naruto gave his first foxy smile in a while and walked away. Before Jiraiya could do anything, half-naked women with torches surrounded him. Curse you, Geki. I curse you. Everyone in Konoha could hear girly screams and laughter as Jiraiya was beaten to the ground for saying anything. With Hinata and Naruto. Where are we going, Hinata? She asked, grabbing Naruto's hand and staring as she led him to the Hyuga estate. I'm taking you home to pack and to G. Give you your G. G. Going away G. Gift. She was able to regain her composure without glancing at her feet, but Naruto ignored the intense flush on her face and continued to follow his strange girlfriend, wondering, going away gift. Did she know I was leaving, but how? They made a visit to the Hyuga estate. Running inside, Hinata emerged carrying a sports bag. She stole a kiss and whispered something hardly audible before leaving, asking, Hey Hina-chan, what's in the bag? Secret. Her voice had such a sensual tone that Naruto felt a little stern. Taking hold of his hands once more, she sprinted to Naruto's apartment. Lemon. Scrolling down is not something people want to read. Naruto discovered that Hinata had already kissed him as soon as he shut the door. Hinata was already in the restroom before Naruto could say anything more. I wish she wouldn't do that. The paw of Hinata. All right, I'm in Naruto's house. All of her naughty fantasies about him came flooding back. Okay, let's begin. Typical paw of Naruto has begun packing already. That is, until he felt arms rubbing his lower member while circling his waist. He stumbled out, Hinata W. What are you doing? Her voice was sultry as she said, Oh Naruto. She put her hand down his pants and remarked, You are very big and very hard. It was the most passionate kiss she had ever given him. Naruto, I love you more than anything in the world. When I first saw you, you were so much different than the rest. I truly love you with all my heart and then some. Naruto's heartbeat became irregular when he saw her wearing a lavender bra and thong. Itching closer to his face, she said, Naruto, but paused a few centimeters to say, I'm hungry. That was enough. Naruto placed Hinata on the bed after picking her up in bridal fashion. He put his lips to hers and held them there. She was in utter bliss. After removing her bra, Naruto began to play with her nipples. She was groaning with pure joy. He placed one of her nipples in his mouth and began sucking on her now hardening nipple, saying, Ah Naruto.kun. In sheer joy, Hinata moaned, Ah, oh Naruto.kun. Having her nipples sucked was something she enjoyed. As she played with his dick, Naruto began removing her thong. Those annoying pants have already been thrown away. With lust in his eyes, Naruto remarked, Well, Hina-chan, you're not the only one that's hungry. Hinata is being attacked by Naruto. She began to groan in utter blissful love. Her stomach began to tighten after a few minutes. Ah. Oh Naruto.kun. I think I'm coming. Hinata felt a strong orgasm wave as she was finishing her sentence. With joy, Naruto licked the sperm from her already moist pussy. Hinata was breathing heavily with pleasure. She uttered, Naruto.kun. Passionately. She sat up and pushed Naruto playfully on his back while impatiently watching his dick throb. I've never felt anything like that. She said without a little stutter, Okay, Naruto.kun. It's my turn to play with you. Her sudden cessation of stuttering is astounding. Her stuttering has nearly completely stopped since she found out his secret. She sank into his lap and began sucking his penis. To see how he would respond, she flicked her tongue over his cock's head. She was not ignored. In response, she merely sucked him more tightly. Damn Hinata. Where did you learn to do that? He was able to come in her mouth very quickly. She did not think twice before swallowing his sperm. That day, she discovered what she liked. 1. She enjoyed tasting his penis and his sperm, which was tangy and sweaty. With her virginity ready to be given to her lover, Hinata stood over Naruto's cock. She broke her barrier by slowly inserting his cock into her. She did it there. She no longer has virginity. Few tears escaped her eyes as she winced at the pain. She gave his worried look a feeble smile and said, "Hinata, maybe we should stop if it hurts you." She kissed him and said, "It's okay, Naruto-kun. It always hurts for girls the first time." He smiled at her and played with her nipple while holding her left breast. She moaned in excruciating pain and pleasure as he pulled his dick in and out of her. She cummed in a short amount of time. Oh, my God. Naruto threw her over and began to accelerate by jamming his cock into her pussy. "Ah. Yes, Naruto-kun. Right there, harder. Harder." Hinata was ecstatic as Naruto continued to bam against her G-spot. As her orgasm hit home, Hinata arched her back and exclaimed, "Oh God, I'm coming." But she didn't stop there. There was more to her coming than that. His thrusts into her pussy continued. They were sweating by this point. His dick was being coked by her inner walls. Harming Hinata with everything he had, Naruto yelled, "Ah Hinata, I'm coming." He then reached up and gazed at Naruto's hair. Hinata exclaimed, "Ah, oh shit," as her orgasm continued to flow. Before he knew it, Hinata crossed her legs over Naruto's ass and pushed Naruto's entire dick into her. Naruto had removed the majority of his cock from her in order to prevent coming from touching her. She stopped having long-lasting orgasms as soon as she felt him come. She collapsed beside Naruto, her body going limp. The lemon end. "All right, everyone, it's safe." The air was heavy with the stench of sex. After taking a shower, separately, Hinata changed into the clothes she had on when she first arrived. Naruto changed into black baggy pants and a crimson muscle shirt. He pulled a baggy black shirt on. In addition, he wore black sandals, fingerless gloves, and a black headband in place of the blue one. They were sitting on the couch holding each other even though it had been roughly 45 minutes since they had sex. With her lover in her arms, Hinata asked, "Naruto-kun, do you have to go on that trip?" With the same warmth and affection that has always drawn her to Naruto, she says, "Yeah, I do think it's time. Besides, I bet your family misses you. Hinata. While I'm gone, please train well. I want you to be as strong as possible." Hinata grinned. He put on his signature fox smile and said, "Of course, Hina-chan. Okay, Naruto-kun, but you promised to do good too." After 45 minutes, Naruto said pathetically, "I'll really miss you too, but I really have to go." Hinata said, sulking playfully, "Naruto-kun, I'm really going to miss you." Hinata sadly remarked, "I understand, Naruto-kun." Naruto trembled with a hint of anger and said, "I promise, Hinata." Confused, Hinata glanced up at her lover. Hinata opened her mouth to say, "I'll make Neji pay for what he did to you." He had no right. Then she heard someone puffing behind her. Naruto nodded, unaware that he was running late. "Well, Naruto, it's time to go." One of his foxy smiles, which always made Hinata feel good, was given to her. Hinata approached Naruto and planted a kiss on him. "I love you, Naruto-kun, please be safe." He heard a perverted giggle coming from behind him before he could speak. He noticed Jiraiya writing in a notebook when he turned to look behind him. "Oh, please don't stop on my account." Jiraiya smiled perversely. On the heads of Naruto and Hinata was a conceit. People from all over the village could see a white and yellow blur speeding across Konoha, and Hinata stood at Naruto's door, watching her boyfriend run off into the distance. "Oh, Naruto-kun," Hinata thought to herself, laughing. "Arrow. Sanin, I'm going to kick your ass." It's been about 3 weeks since Naruto and Jiraiya came to Air and started Naruto's training. Kushina put Naruto through hell. Every day he woke up at 4 in the morning. He did his morning workout, which included 500 sit-ups, 200 push-up, and 10 laps around the village. It takes about 3 hours to finish because of the gravity seal's place on him. Naruto starts his training with Charka control at 7:30 am and finish at 9 am. 9 am to 12 he worked on his bloodline. It seems that Shingan has 3 ways of activation. 1. Fear. It's the weakest and common way of activation. If anyone activated it like that, then you no longer have to use hand size for jutsu. The next way is at a life or death situations. This allows the user to move at the speed of light. The third is rare. The person must feel so many painful emotions at one time for the bloodline to active. It allows the person to copy jutsu and see the Charka pathways. It also allows the person to speed up the body at a slow pace. The person may also use light jutsu and dark jutsu. Only 2 people who are alive have active this level, Kushina Uzumaki and Naruto Uzumaki. The last of the Shingan line. Naruto's grown a lot in short amount of time. His outfit changed as well. Naruto now wore a dark blue trench coat with black baggy pants. He also wore a skin-tight blood red shirt. He also wore black sandals and he also replaced the blue cloth with the black ones. He also wore black fingerless metal-plated gloves that has a seal in the middle of the gloves. The seal said, Light Naruto was 4 foot and now he's 5 foot 2. Naruto's hair now reached to his shoulder blades. Naruto has also changed his personality. He's now calm and cool. Headed. He no longer had the whisker-like marks, they were almost completely gone. He's still the ramen-loving, Hokage Wanabe, happy. Go. Lucky kid everyone knows and love. He's just a little more laid back. Jiraiya and I worked on Genjutsu from 12:30 to 2 p.m., Ninjutsu from 2 o'clock to 4 p.m., Taijutsu from 4 o'clock to 6 p.m., and Tactics from 7 o'clock to 9 p.m. After weeks of following the same routine, Naruto's stats gradually change, and they are currently as follows. Level 12 of Naruto Kazama Uzumaki, Bloodline, 4 stars. Attack Strength, 6/10 power speed, 6 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for stamina control of Charka, 7 out of 10. Capacity of Charka, 15 out of 20 IQ, 7 out of 10. Techniques that are frequently used, A.D. Remember, wink wink. Shadow Clone Jutsu, or Cage Bunshin no Jutsu Shunshin no Jutsu, or the Body Flicker Method. Doden. Inner Decapitation, Earth Release, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. Fire Release. Fire Dragon Flame Missile, Kaden. Karyu Enden. Shuriken Shadow Clone, or Shuriken Cage Bunshin no Jutsu. Deibakuha Bunshin, Clone Great Explosion, Technique of Summoning, or Kachiyose no Jutsu. Bunshin no Jutsu Suchi, Earth Clone Method, Hari Jizo, Guardian of Needles. Hinjutsu. Sen Kami Ma, Praise of the Gods, Light Release. Hinjutsu. Ulraiden, Obligation, Dark Release. Come on, Naruto, you're late. Okay, you know the plan right? Kushina asked, and Jiraiya and Naruto nodded. Okay, let's get going. Jiraiya yelled, while Yuki simply shook her head at her son. Remember, Naruto, these tests aren't primarily about power. Kushina, Jiraiya, and Naruto vanished in a strong wind as Naruto nodded his head and said, this exam is more on strategies. In the stands at the arena, hey Kiba, Hinata.san over here, Kiba asked, so Hinata, where do you want to sit? Hinata looked around and saw many people. Hey Ino.san, how are you? Yelled a blonde girl wearing an orange top. Hinata turned to face her blonde friend and asked, Sakura.san, are you okay? Hinata pitied the girl, who had never seen Naruto so angry in her life. It frightened them. His eyes, not his face, conveyed pain. Sakura and Kakashi sighed. Yes, he is present, and said, Hinata, I'm fine. Is he likely to pardon me? Sakura lowered her head as she spoke, and Hinata sat down next to her, smiling as she said, I know he will. Ino smirked and said, you know Hinata, it seems you have a lot of courage and you don't stutter anymore. Hinata blushed red and stammered for the first time in a month, trying to act innocent, but it didn't help that her face was burning. Yes Hinata, I have to agree you glowing today. Kakashi said, grinning under his mask. Unfortunately, they never received an answer because all of their friends and teachers began joining their small group. A.D. Everyone's there as in Choji, Lee, Guy, Tenten, ECT. Everyone who's fighting is down in the arena. A.D.I. will not be attending the speeches with Genma and the Hokage. All right, everyone who isn't engaged in combat will proceed to the higher level. Naruto Uzumaki vs Neji Hyuga is the first match. Gamma looked around, thinking, since Naruto Uzumaki is not here, he is dis. Gamma stopped when a giant tornado swept across the battlefield, and 3 people were standing back. Back when the tornado subsided. In the earlier stains, where is Naruto, please? Everyone turned to look for the blonde fool when Kiba said, yeah, where is he? They were all becoming anxious when Ino said, Naruto vs Neji. Where is he? Sakura said, hopping for any god to help him get here. They all saw 3 people come in with a gust of wind. Hinata could only smile. That's just like you Naruto. Always being too flashy. Is that Naruto? My god Naruto's hot. Ino remarked as she licked her lips. Sakura's face was flushed, and her inner Sakura was drooling at the mouth. Man, I wouldn't mind riding that. Cha! Inner Sakura exclaimed, giving Sakura another shade of red. Every girl under the age of 17 had that thought in mind. Dobi, you're late. Ironic, isn't it? Naruto turned to face Sasuke Uchiha, his best friend and rival. Sorry about that, am I late? Naruto grinned feistily. Everyone was shocked to see one of the legendary shinobi in Konoha. Sasuke simply sighed, you barely made it. He looked up at the two adults behind Naruto and asked, who are they? Before he could respond, the Sandaime appeared in front of them, grinning and wrinkled. Long time no see Razakage. In addition to her bodyguard in the blue kimono, Jiraiya as the bodyguard, Orochimaru was perspiring because he couldn't defeat the old man and the Razakage. He sincerely hoped they wouldn't get in the way. Why have you come here? The second shock of the day was when she placed a hand on Naruto's head and said, I came to see my son fight in the exams. The Sandaime never imagined he would see her again, and they were, in a word, terrified because the mother of the demon brat was the Kage of the most powerful hidden village in the world. Unbeknownst to everyone, Shin created a shadow clone and sent it to the stands, saying, Ka.san, Shin.san, I don't mean to be rude but I have a match to win. I will start calling Jiraiya Chin for now. The shadow clone also puffed back to look like Jiraiya. Naruto approached Neji in the middle of the arena and said, you look like you have something to say. Neji smirked, and Naruto closed his eyes and said, I said it before. Naruto's eyes and Shingan exploded, shocking and astounding everyone. I vow to win, Naruto said, as a little bloodlust rolled off him. His face was calm and confident, and he looked exactly like the fourth Hokage. His eyes promised pain and plenty of it. Cage both. You only have one chance, so make the most of it, Kushina told herself. Stands. You can succeed, Naruto.kun, Hinata told herself. At the arena below, Naruto told himself, you'll pay for hurting Hinata, Chan. Now let's start the first chunin exam battle. Using a combination of X-ray and infrared vision, the Byakugan can see in 360 degrees and detect objects within a 50-meter radius. When using the gentle fist style, the Byakugan can see individual chakra points, which enables the user to completely cut off the opponent's chakra flow, preventing them from performing chakra. Required techniques. Warning: do not be hit by this attack. The only known weakness is a small blind spot near the back of the neck. With a sly smile, Naruto began to plan a strategy to win the fight. Pay close attention, Hanabi. He is stronger than anyone else who has inherited the Hyuga's bloodline limit. Even more than my sister? Asked 7-year-old Hanabi, looking at her father with mild shock. Your older sister does not even compare with him, Heishi Hyuga said, looking down at his nephew. Most likely more than you, Hanabi said, not really believing him. Her eyes widened, and she looked at Neji for a moment before turning to face her father and asking, can Neji win? Her father remained silent for a moment before saying something that shocked her even more than before. I don't know, Hanabi. Uzumaki is in control of the Shingan. Even the Byakugan might not be able to win this battle, Heishi stated solemnly. You're not going to prevail. Fate has already decided that I will prevail. Neji attempted to enrage the blonde, and it was successful. Naruto charged at Neji in a slow pass that gave the impression that he had not changed at all, but Neji ignored this and simply sidestepped every blow that was aimed at him. Sasuke merely grinned as he watched his friend charge stupidly at Neji, saying, what the shrimp hasn't improved at all. Naruto's not that dumb. He must have a plane, Sasuke thought. Neji had had enough and struck Naruto in the chest with his palm, but he was blown away by a huge explosion. Everyone was shocked and perplexed by how Naruto exploded, filling the arena with smoke, and when the smoke cleared, Neji was standing there, clutching his left arm as blood poured from it. Neji was breathing heavily, confused, but he assumed he had won and attempted to smirk but was unsuccessful. In the discolorations, where is Naruto? Sakura said, searching for the blonde. The Genins were searching frantically for him, but they wouldn't accept it unless he simply died because, for Kami's sakes, he's Naruto and doesn't know how to just die. Only the Jonins didn't appear to be concerned. Go back inside the arena. An investigator. I win, Neji declared as he hobbled back up the stairs, but he stopped when he noticed Naruto grinning smugly at him at the top of the steps. We're not planning on leaving, are we? Neji asked. Neji was perspiring and said, how are you alive? You haven't touched me yet. Neji didn't even finish his sentence before Naruto smirked and uttered, Bunshin Deibakuha. Clone Great Explosion. You blew yourself up unless it was a... Naruto pulled out 3 shuriken and threw them at Neji, saying, your eyes are good, but you can't tell the difference between the shadow clone and the real deal. You can't win against my eyes. I know all of your jutsus, for example. With the intention of swatting them away, Neji only pulled out a kunai. He cursed as Naruto called out Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shuriken Shadow Clone, and performed a few hand seals, turning the 3 shuriken into 30. Neji began to spin, causing a blue and red dome to appear, the red being from the blood on his arm. Naruto just grinned as he uttered a single word that startled the tree Hyugas in the crowd. Kuso, he's giving me no choice. Neji began to slow down, which gave Naruto the ideal opportunity to punch Neji in the stomach and leap back to get some distance. Ha 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 Kaden. Neji sneered at Naruto with the deepest hatred, saying, Neji, I told you I would win. What you did to Hinata I will not let that go unjustified. Neji told Naruto everything about the seal and her father's death, saying, what do you know about me? It's her fault my father was killed. Naruto was enraged that he could simply attribute his troubles to Hinata in that way. In the discolorations Hinata tried not to cry as she gazed at the floor. She wasn't to blame, she had just turned 3. Heishi merely let out a mental sigh. This was not what he wanted for his nephew. It appears that he still harbors animosity toward the main family. Neji used all of his strength to move his arm and said, now do you see why I hate her, and now I'll end this. You are within my divination. Naruto didn't even give him a glance. His eyebrows would be twitching if someone looked closely. Hake Rokujuiensho, 64 strikes, divination field. Hake 2 strikes, 4 strikes 8 strikes. 16 blows 22 blows 64 strikes, they all made terrible misses. He even had the audacity to do it with his eyes closed, but Naruto avoided all of his blows as if they were insignificant. With bloodlust rolling out of him, Naruto said, Neji. Everyone but the Kages shuddered in fear. I hate people like you. Blaming your problems on someone who had no say in the matter. People like you make me sick. You even made up a stupid excuse for your actions. You blamed it on something that doesn't even exist. You use Hinata as an outlet for your own pain, and for that, Naruto looked up. His eyes turned black and purple, taking on the appearance of fire as the swirl whirled at breakneck speed. You will pay. Naruto created a shadow clone, applied seals, and simultaneously stopped. Neji looked at him as if the world's fate depended on him, saying, stop whining about fate and how it can't be changed. A wise man once told me that when a captured bird grows wiser they try to open the cage with their beaks. They don't give up, because they want to fly again. Shin, who is a shadow clone of Jiraiya, grinned at what he had heard. Well, it's about time he gave me a damn compliment, I said. Both Narutos thrust out their hands and uttered the words, Futon, Daitopa, wind release, great breakthrough, and you and I are different, Neji. You aren't a dropout, but just because you aren't one, doesn't mean you can't be beaten by one. Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu, fire release, great fireball technique. When the jutsu was finished, Neji was unconscious and appeared to have moved out of the way a little but was severely burned. The two jutsu mixed together and collided with Neji full force. Winner Naruto Uzumaki. Genma exclaimed as he raised his hand and glanced at the two. In the bleachers Sakura shouted, he did it. In support of her former teammate. Every time he watched him, Ino's smile grew larger in shock that he had won. Kakashi smiled, though it was hidden from view, and said, Naruto, you are really fascinating. I can't wait to get to know you better, he's grown really strong. Hinata gave her lover a slight smile and said, I wish I were the one to help him activate that level of strength. Her face flushed as Naruto winked at her while looking up at her. Playfully, Hinata thought, you would think that after I had sex with him, I wouldn't blush so much around him. The blonde had Sasuke fuming. How did he become so strong? He is not deserving of such authority. I'm entitled to power like that. I have greater need for it. In the cage, both look at him after all that he's not even breathing hard. The third grinned and remarked, it seems Naruto has gotten much stronger. What did you expect? He is his father's son. Kushina grinned broadly, and the two cages laughed lightly. Orochimaru's eyes were filled with lust as he gazed at the blonde. Fag, I'm eager to hold those eyes in my hands. I'll have you, Naruto.kun. When Sasuke and Gaara fight, it looks like they're going to attack. I must therefore be prepared. As he made his way to the stains, Naruto reflected. Hey Naruto, where are you going? The blonde was asked by Shikamaru. Naruto merely smiled slyly at the boy before sprinting to the bleachers. In the stands, man Naruto has gotten really powerful, and in just a month that's amazing. As she watched the medical staff pick up Neji, Ino said. He has, indeed. How did he acquire so much authority? Sasuke gritted his teeth as he spoke. Oh, that's easy. Naruto said as he approached the small group. I eat all of my greens. Naruto grinned ferociously. Naruto found himself in the middle of a passionate kiss before he even realized it. Naruto could have told who this was just by the grope he felt during the kiss. You were sorely missed, Hinata. I guess they simply couldn't wait for me to return. Naruto smiled silly as he spoke. That remark caused Hinata to flush. Naruto-kun, you were missed. I'm happy you're back. As though worried that he might vanish, she said, never let the blonde go. Naruto-kun promises me you won't ever leave me. At that, Naruto scowled and sighed. Hinata. Is not something I can guarantee. Because a ninja's life is so dangerous, I will occasionally have to leave. Hinata grinned at Naruto and sighed deeply. I know I was just in the moment. After giving the girl a smile, Naruto heard her cough behind him. While Naruto put on a sour face, Hinata appeared to jump out of her skin at the cough. Well, at least we know why she's so happy, with a perverted giggle, Kakashi said. Yes. When did you two get together, then? A little irritated that she couldn't get as close to the blonde as she desired, Ino said. A flush came over Hinata's face. She had to force herself to refrain from sticking her fingers out. We got together a month ago. Hinata smiled shyly as she spoke. Why didn't you tell me, Hinata? He was more than angry, but he kept it to himself. Because of Hinata's infatuation with Naruto. He harbored strong feelings for her but kept them to himself. All right. Kiba-kun, I've been quite busy lately, in a whisper, she said. Now that he was higher than her, Naruto cast a downward glance at her. She was clearly unhappy with the direction the questions were taking. I think that's enough questions for one day. Hinata grinned in gratitude as Naruto spoke. Who gave you power, dope? To defeat my brother, I need that kind of power. You'll let me know. Sasuke remarked while giving the blonde a lethal glare. Naruto simply sighed in frustration, but any lesser being would have shuddered beneath it. Don't you have a match to get on with? Gazing down at the arena, Naruto said. He noticed that Gaara was standing there, looking very bored. Sasuke simply gave Gaara a glare that meant, I'm not done yet, but he still leapt down into the arena to confront her. As everyone took their seats, Naruto sat beside Hinata, obviously enraged with Kiba. In the stadium below, you have little chance of defeating me. You understand that I am correct. I'm a Uchiha. Sasuke said, displaying his full ego. It doesn't matter who you are, Gaara said, standing motionless. You are worthy of being fed to my mother because we share the same eyes. Gaara spoke in the same lifeless voice he had had since he was a child. As if he were nothing, Sasuke sneered at him and lunged forward to strike. For starters, I won't go into specifics about everyone's battle. We've seen it before, not because I'm lazy. What's the point, then? In the upper stands, Naruto couldn't help but glance at Lee as he watched Sasuke battle. He put a lot of effort into reaching his current level, and Sasuke Teme just shows up and does it as if it were nothing. I apologize, Lee. Gazing at his large-eyed companion, Naruto pondered. Wow. Sasuke-kun has grown incredibly powerful. He will definitely win this. As Sasuke continued to beat away at Gaara's sand dome, Ino spoke. I don't think so, Ino. Even though Sasuke did have Gaara on the defense, he can't do anything now that he's in that dome of sand. Gazing at Sasuke, Naruto said, run up the wall and grab his hand. Kakashi grinned. He was aware of Sasuke's next move. I don't think so. If that stance is any indication, Sasuke will bust into that dome. After glancing at the copy nin, Naruto returned his focus to the battle. Hitaki-san, I hope for Sasuke's sake that you're right. Kakashi returned his focus to the fight, although he appeared saddened by the way his name was used. Sasuke felt blue lightning creep up his hand. It covered his entire hand, and the sound of birds chirping reached the ears of the crowd. He ran down the stadium wall as the lightning appeared to be flying wildly around his hand. What is that? Lee questioned his instructor. That Lee is the sole original jutsu of Kakashi. The sound of thousands of birds chirping is what gives it its name. It's called 1000 birds, or Chidori. As the thunderblade sliced through the sand dome as if it were nothing, there was total silence. What's this cozy sensation? It's damp. As he placed his hand on his chest to check what it was, Gaara spoke inside the dome. My blood, my blood. Ah. Sasuke felt the sand tighten its hold on his arm as Gaara screamed. He succeeded in pulling it out, but he didn't anticipate a second hand joining him. Like a fish, the hand flopped on the floor. What the hell is that? Sakura remarked while observing the hand being drawn back into the dome. However, the dome exploded before anyone could notice. All people could do was watch in horror. Naruto leapt to his feet and released Hinata. There was only one word he could use to explain what was happening. Damn. What on earth is that? Sasuke flinched at what he saw inside the dome and thought. A lone golden eye glared back at Sasuke, its pupil resembling a star. Sasuke was only able to experience a strong sense of hatred. The tournament's referee, Genma, a Jonin, looked around as he prepared for combat. What is this sensation? The sand dome broke open and fell to dust, and everyone watched. Gaara held his wound and stood. His breathing was labored, as if he were exerting all of his strength to control something. No way. He has injuries. As he stood there in awe, Kankuro said. Temari looked down at her younger brother and bit her lip. He broke his shell too soon. This awful. As she and Kankuro gazed down in terror, Temari spoke. Within the cage box, Kushina watched in awe as she detected the boy's inner demon. She nodded as she turned to face Jiraiya. In order to avoid raising suspicions, he realized and began collecting charka gradually. Alongside Naruto. Naruto.kun, what is that? Hinata spoke softly to her beloved. While remaining silent, Naruto began to slowly gather charka. Hinata, everything will be okay, just relax. As he prepared for battle, Naruto said, his eyes growing icy. Hinata felt him tense and nodded, understanding. White feathers began to fall all over the stadium as an Anbu made a hand seal somewhere in the stands. It starts. Naruto's point of view as he watched Kiba and Hinata drift off to sleep, I glanced around. Since Hinata is still injured, I doubt she will be able to stop any genjutsu other than Kiba. Why he was unable to dispel the jutsu is beyond me. While he placed Hinata on the chairs, I dispelled the jutsu. I watched as Kakashi and Guy defeated the jutsu. I could do the same thing as other shinobi. When I turned to Sakura, I saw that she was dispelling the technique while Choji and Ino were unconscious. Finish Naruto's point of view. Baki searched the arena in an attempt to identify the Anbu who performed the jutsu. A genjutsu? Is Kabuto already moving? Then, most likely, they will, Baki said as he slipped away. Within the cage box, it starts. Orochimaru turned his head slowly to Kushina and Hiruzen and thought. As soon as the three cages touched. Let's begin, Orochimaru said, laughing, his eyes widening. His two bodyguards charged forward, flinging two smoke bombs onto the ground, encircling the cage box in a cloud of smoke. Alongside Naruto, are you prepared? As a gigantic snake crashed into the arena, Shin spoke. As part of the arena was destroyed, Kakashi and the other nin stood in disbelief. You're on Naruto. Naruto turned on his Shingan and nodded. I understand, dark release. Obligation. Hinjutsu. Ulraiden, a dark vortex encircled the snake and sucked it in, causing Naruto to yell and widen his eyes. As Naruto's eyes continued to bleed, the vortex dissipated. You need to exert more control over that, Naruto. You might lose your sight. Here. Shin said as she gave Naruto a pill of solder. It'll help. Naruto thanked him and nodded. You know what to do, Naruto. I let you handle the rest. As he inhaled a cloud of smoke, Shin spoke. In order to relax, Naruto inhaled deeply and nodded. All right. Gaara's Operation Kill. Within the cage box. Cage, what is the meaning of this? Hiruzen remarked as Kushina rose to his feet and positioned himself defensively, only to be hit in the chest by two kunai as the Hokage's bodyguard charged. His final words were, Hokage. Sama. Please, run away. Orochimaru leapt to the rough and followed closely behind Hiruzen, holding a kunai to his neck, ready to stab him at any moment. As they shunshin, body flicker, to the rough, Kushina gave Chin a nod. It turned out that the two sand nin emerged from their clothing as sound nins. They were dressed in the same uniform as Orochimaru, which is the standard outfit for Auto Nin. So, it's finally our turn. As he grinned at the bewilderment on the Leaf Nin's faces, a man with 6 arms said. All of that maintaining formation stuff is really stressing me out. I'm eager to let loose. A man's head protruding from his back. You all smell like shit. The team's lone female member said. The smell was so strong that the redhead could only turn her nose. Stop it, we're teammates. Shouted the largest one with a mohawk. There's no need for violence between us at this time. Orochimaru glanced at his 4 subordinates and nodded as he sewed a few ninjas in his direction. The 4 shouted, Ninpo, Shishi Engine, and swiftly caused the snake hand to sigh. Quad. Violet Flame Field, Ninja Art. The cages were surrounded by a field that resembled a purple box. Unlucky, an Anbu crashed into the field and instantly caught fire. Trying to get inside her is pointless. I hold the power to decide your fate. From behind his costume, Orochimaru spoke. I didn't expect the sand to betray Konoha. To be honest, Hiruzen didn't anticipate that. He did not expect the sand, but he did expect Orochimaru. A treaty is simply camouflage to relax an opponent, Orochimaru said with a laugh. This marks the end of the trivial mock battles. History will begin to be written with the fall of Konohagakure. Are you trying to start a war? Frowned Hiruzen. Of course. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes and spoke. You should steer clear of confrontations and try to reach an agreement through dialogue. Kazekage, there is still time to put an end to this. Hiruzen stated that he was attempting to peacefully end the fighting. Orochimaru closed his eyes, deciding that now was a better moment than any to reveal his true self. Perhaps when you grow old, you become used to peace, Sarutobi. Sensei. Orochimaru's voice was normal. At last, Hiruzen realized what was happening. During Gaara's actions, I intended to take Sasuke-kun for myself. I can't seem to get what I want anymore, can I? I can make little kittens drop dead, Orochimaru said in a sickly tone. So you were pursuing that. You desire Sasuke and Konoha. Orochimaru simply snorted when Konoha was brought up. You consider Konoha to be that significant? There won't be any Konoha when Gaara fully awakens. You'll die today, and I'll win. Orochimaru spoke in a relaxed manner. We do not know the results until the very end now, do we? Kushina? With a sly smile, the elderly man left Orochimaru's grasp. No, we don't. As she emerged from beneath the floor, nearly severing Orochimaru in two, Kushina screamed. Orochimaru barely escaped the assault. Had he not been so abnormally supple, he would have been destroyed. I wasn't expecting you, Kushina-chan, but then again you always had a knack for popping up where you don't belong. Sneering at the redhead, Orochimaru said. Hiruzen scowled at Orochimaru and laughed. I have no idea why you are acting in this way. You have no objectives or intentions. No, I do have a goal, Orochimaru said with a laugh. I want the Sharingan, which will result in Konoha's devastation. Hiruzen watched as he tossed his hat aside, grinning at his former pupil. You've remained the same. The idiot who wants to master every jutsu in the world is still you. Hiruzen said, preparing for combat. Enough of the talking. I believe we have a fight to begin. After that, the battle began.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.